Welcome back to Every Kind of I Do. I have got a special hand fasting for you today, and this is a fantastic. So many details at this wedding that I had to name it something, so I'm calling it the Celestial Hand Fasting. And the location this time is at White Rock Lake. Now that's local to here to DFW. I've been out there quite a few times for various different kinds of weddings out there, and it was a very lovely day. And I wanted to go over and share some amazing highlights and details from this hand fasting that I think you'll enjoy. But, once again, I'm Jen with Weirdo Weddings Photography. I'm here to talk about couples' love stories, our weirdos out there, and just people doing things their own way on their wedding day and event. So I am here to sit with you for a little bit and let's get into it because this is a really lovely one. So I wanted to start with, first of all, this beautiful lake view. It is lakeside. It's kind of like in the middle of the park and the property, so you have to drive a ways to get into it. But it definitely feels like you're outside the city. So, when you think lake, it could look differently depending on the lake that you're here in Dallas, right? Like I've had some previous episodes off of a lake, a different kind of lake. This is definitely more nature focused lakeside, as in the other one was definitely much more of there's a whole bunch of boats, there's a club there for the yacht club, and a whole bunch of different feels on that side of the lake there versus White Rock Lake, which gives me much more trees, nature trails, and things like that. So when you're thinking about getting married in a space like this, it's obviously outdoors, little to no shade and trees in certain areas. So if you're getting married during the daytime with the sun, it's going to probably be in your face a little bit. Um, to me, this lovely archway was put together, and they had their ideas, which I thought was lovely, of draping ivy all across it. And I think it just kind of blends right in with the landscape, right? At least, this is how I'm seeing it as the photographer. Like, I'm capturing this stuff. Whatever your ideas are, I'm capturing it all so you know what was done on your wedding day. So you look back 50 years from now and you're like, oh, that's what my arch looked like. Or this is where I was standing. And this was my officiant. Or this is my lovely heels that I'm wearing. So the great thing about this wedding is that when I was consulting with them and I was also consulting with the officiant, is that we were discussing how much taller they were. Like they're over 6 feet tall each, and they both had their own style and they both wanted to wear heels. So what we have is, people that are over 6 feet tall wearing heels. And so I'm like 5'6". And the officiant's slightly, about the same height or a little shorter potentially. And so we're both like, looking up to them. And it was beautiful because this is exactly who they are, and they express themselves uniquely in this whole light and dark. And actually that was part of the concept was you have black starry night sky gown with gothic makeup meets a little bit more light and airy with a little bit of masculine and feminine put together. Like there's a vest mixed with a veil cape. I know we've had quite a few of those in my series here. This is a different kind of a little cape. And then you also have rainbow heels. So, rainbow heels versus black heels. And then also, if you look closely, you have to look a little close for this because it's kind of far away. We have a light versus dark bouquets as well, or this particular element for the archway. So we have this mixture of darker tones and more of a moody set of flowers. And then we have what we would call the lighter version, a little bit less heavy, right? So this is how they specifically wanted it. We have light and airy meets dark and moody. We have dark and moody meets a little bit of light and airy. So this was purposely done, and only we would know about it. Those of us that were there, those of us that designed it, only we would know that. And I think it's important when you're designing and putting some thought into your wedding day and how you want it to look and feel. Sometimes it's just going to be for you to know, for you to understand, and for you to enjoy. Okay. So when you're thinking about that, think about those subtle little things. I think it's awesome. So I also want to bring something up with, there's sometimes some quirky things that you want to bring to your wedding. This is the ring box. Okay. This is a fully fledged heart bright red. You open it up, and that's where the rings were. So it was a lovely, lovely ring box. And I wanted to highlight this because this is for all of more of my, the folks that love much more of the horror genre. You're trying to think of elements that aren't too crazy, but they're just enough creepy, maybe. I don't even know if I got to show you. Let me go back real quick. So on the table, you probably didn't catch this. There's little vampire plants. So there's little vampire plants here, and then here's the heart box, and then there's hand fasting cords. And then there's a dish. I don't recall what the dish was for, but there's a whole little tiny tablescape happening here that I think it's important to note that this was a subtle way to have that, well, not even quite Halloween, but more of like, that spooky season vibe to it, right? So let's go back to the heart. So we have the heart. It's beautiful. It's unique. Like, and I know that y'all will understand when you see this that you know if it's for you or not. Like, really, you'll know. And I just thought it was worth mentioning because everybody's ring boxes are different. And sometimes people don't even use ring boxes. But if you need something a little quirky, this is definitely up there. So I also wanted to note here's a beautiful front image of the outfits, and I kind of wanted to show you the landscape. When we say White Rock Lake, there's also these trees and landscapes. This is obviously the sun is starting to go down now, so the lighting hits a little differently when it's towards sunset versus earlier in the day when it's right over your head, right? And maybe you haven't thought about the lighting outside, right? But I'm thinking about the lighting all the time. Like, where is the sun and where are you getting married? That's usually a lot of my questions. Is it before or after time change? Like, as long as we still have time changes in the fall and the spring, I'm always going to ask you where and what time are you getting married and what's the lighting going to look like? So I want to kind of quickly go through this where we have the light and the dark. They both have Sola wood flower bouquets. One, again, is the dark and moody with the beautiful darker tones. One is more light and airy with these blues and creams. But we also have this amazing purple hair, and then we have this amazing green hair. Now, if you haven't noticed, a lot of my couples wear glasses. Hey, I wear glasses. I understand. The one thing I did, knowing that I was wearing glasses and I really didn't want to walk down the aisle with my glasses, I just went down blind. But I was also inside of a church. I didn't have very far to go. All I had to do was follow the aisle to my husband. And when you're wearing glasses and that's who you are, I'm not going to ask you to take them off. I'm not going to ask you to wear contacts. I want it to be known and said that if you wear glasses and that's what you want to wear for your wedding day, then you better do that. If you're comfortable with that and you want to do that, that's what I encourage you to do. So I love the fact that they actually both got their makeup done this day. We have some, again, deep, darker goth tones on the face, and we also have this beautiful green to match the green hair. Very stunningly done. And don't forget the dresses. Okay, the dresses and the heels. Amazing. So I also wanted to kind of take a minute to showcase their hair. Look at this bright, 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 bright green. It is very fresh. They added in gold sprigs of leaves and things like that, and all different kinds of things here. You can see a little bit more of the celestial details here for the hand fasting. And then also, this is actually add in that spooky, dark and moody vibe. We have a little bat clip. So yeah, beautifully done. Bravo. Love it. So what I leave you with today is, and specifically this one is a hand fasting. Okay. So it was much more centered around a hand fasting ceremony versus a traditional wedding. So it's very important to note that sometimes you need to just do the ceremony how you want to do the ceremony. And sometimes there's a legality to it, and sometimes you just need to do the ceremony for the sake of your vows that you want to share in front of everybody. Okay. So there are different ways you can do this. So this is just one way. This is one love story, and I wanted to share with you how adorable and cute and sweet this was, where we have dark meets light, goth meets whimsical, all the things. And also just the fact that it's a hand fasting. Even though I didn't show you all the details of the hand fasting, I showed you exactly what they wanted to do for their day, and that included the showing up in front of their friends and family and making their love known publicly to their friends and family. All right. So next time we're gonna talk about something else. I'm pretty sure it's probably gonna be, I don't know, we're gonna find out. So thanks for joining me on the ride. Go ahead and like and subscribe and tell me, are you doing a hand fasting? And if so, what kind of hand fasting? Let me know. Let me know in the comments. See you later.